Hi everyone, it's Robert from the Outlier Customer Success Team. We got a request yesterday on our YouTube channel to do an analysis of CCL, which is Carnival Cruise Lines. So I'm going to quickly go over what I see in Outlier and maybe a couple other data points. So I've got CCL up here, and the initial observation is that it has gone through a period where the oscillator has moved down, flattened out a little bit here, and has made another move lower. So as I always like to do, I want to understand where this oscillator is relative to its historical range. So I'll always check on the max here. If we go to that, so here's our oscillator, and if we take this horizontal line across, you can see that this oscillator from a historical perspective is not really near the bottom of its range. It's kind of in the middle of its range. I'd say on the shorter term here in the last, about 6 months, it's probably near the bottom of its range, but there's a reason I look at the max amount of data, because I want to understand the max range. So for me, that's a box that I wouldn't be able to check off here, where the oscillator is in a point that I really like. Doesn't mean it's not an opportunity, but that is certainly not a box I'm able to check with respect to its historical range. So I'll go back to the 3-month view now, and as far as the heat map color, it's still in kind of this lighter red area, and as we know, the darker the color, the more conviction outliers kind of indicating for a particular state. So this isn't a box I would check off either. So from an outlier perspective, I would certainly be giving Carnival a little bit of time to convince me that it's the right trade to make to get in here. There's obviously some other things to think about here. I've read that CCL is basically a pandemic trade. It certainly has the potential to respond very positively if people start traveling again. With the things that are going on in India, I think there is probably some fear that maybe worldwide travel of this nature will be restricted for still some time. So there's that kind of analysis too that I think needs to happen here. There's some interesting data points as well when I kind of looked a little bit closer at how things have been trading in here for the last month or so. And on April 4th, I think, Carnival reported earnings, and it had a nice move up from 27 to 28 on that day. And 28, it definitely found a bottom around 28, and over the next day or so got up to around 31.5, came off from 31.5 back to that 28 level, and had a decent bounce from there as well. Not nearly up to 31.5 though. I think it probably only got up to around 29.5 at that point. So it did that, came back down, and you can see this oscillator here turning during this time period, and then kind of flattening back out as it came back off. And once it came back off and failed through that 28 area, it took it all the way down into the 25s, and hung out there for a little while before regaining some composure and moving back higher. Before today, it got back up to this 28 area, and it kind of been hanging out there for the last couple days. And when I initially looked at that this morning, my comment would have been, had we stayed around this price range, that I'd want to see more on the upside. If you, again, like from an outlier perspective, I think none of this here is extremely convincing to me at this point. But if you are committed to try to do something, I would have suggested waiting a little bit until we kind of got above this 28 and reestablished an up move. We definitely established an up move over here on earnings, and I'd want to see us establish another up move before considering getting in. Again, if you did want to aggressively try this. Now, we had about a 5% sell off today, so that initial analysis of waiting in that area is kind of out the door. I still think you need to wait, and now you can feel better about giving this some time to maybe work itself out, and maybe we do get another move lower in the oscillator and the heat map starts to generate more conviction, and we can look at a more favorable entry price. But that's kind of my quick analysis of CCL. If you have other symbols you'd like me to look at, you can comment on the YouTube channel, or you can email me at robert@outlier.com, and I'd be happy to try to go over those symbols as they come in. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching.